Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and as I'm sure some of you are already quite aware, John Totalbiscuit Bain passed earlier today. Now, I'm recording this without a camera as it is a monumental effort to speak about this while maintaining a clear voice, and if I see my own face while recording this, I honestly would not be able to do it. I know this news is upsetting to a great many people, myself included, but I feel that I owe it to John to take a few moments to once again express my admiration and exactly how John influenced my channel. Quite frankly, were it not for Totalbiscuit, this channel would not exist. It was the inspiration I found when listening not only to his games critique, but more to his analysis of practices and difficult topics within the games industry that I really resonated with. His influence on this channel was so great initially that people had accused me of being a Totalbiscuit wannabe, some even asking me if I was related to Totalbiscuit, and there were many other associations made when it came to how I comported myself online. In fact, his influence was probably never more prevalent on my channel than when I posted my video discussing my first time suffering a spurious DMCA strike at the hands of Dentola Studios, where I outed their asset flips on Steam Greenlight. That video was signal boosted by Jim Sterling, who commented on how calm I was within the video at that time. The truth of the matter was, I was anything but calm, but I drew on what I'd learned from Totalbiscuit and his handling of industry topics, and I decided that a cooler head would prevail, and that turned out to be the correct decision. And that realization was something that I had come to slowly learn that John Bain had already learned a long time ago, and somewhere along the way, over the course of the past year, I think I had actually partially forgotten this, at least until I reminded myself today as I went back through past videos of both myself and some of Totalbiscuit's videos. The fact that cooler heads will prevail, the fact that emotion doesn't serve much of a place within industry analysis and critique and only serves to obfuscate the actual issues and will also muddy the waters when you try to relate that information to your viewers. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on more moving forward. I didn't make it this far by going off on emotional tangents and allowing them to cloud my judgment. I made it here because of my ability to think clearly and concisely and then relate that information to my viewers. It is something that I've held true to since the creation of my channel. The fact that critique is important, whether it be critique of a video game, critique of a method of monetization, critique of a business practice, or critique of how a game developer or games publisher handles a given scenario or situation. All of it serves a singular purpose of providing information and a way to process that information to the consumer. You've often heard me parrot the words, information is ammunition and knowledge is power. There is an inherent truth to those words that cannot be disputed when it comes to the dichotomy that is the relationship between game developer and gamer. Although if the larger games publishers had their way, it would be a relationship that is far more parasitical in nature. John Bain understood the concept that critique serves a larger purpose of not only informing the consumer, but of curbing the greater excesses of the gaming corporations. Critique helps to curb the dishonesty and limit the scope of their greed, something which is seemingly in short supply these days and is in much less supply now more than ever, without one of the largest voices in consumer advocacy being there to help. A critique matters. Critique is important. Critique helps make this industry better. Those were words spoken by John Bain, and they are just as true now as they were then. Without it, we are left with misleading information, and we are left in an industry with no way to be able to make an educated or informed purchase. And while I may have sidestepped mostly into industry commentary, I am still laser focused on the games industry, and you can bet your ass that reviews are going to be coming back to my channel. Not many, mind you, but I will not do away with game reviews entirely. John Bain opened the doors that make channels like mine possible, and the number of people he has inspired number in the tens, if not hundreds of thousands. He broke trail to pave the way for so many to follow. I count myself luckier than most. I actually have had email conversations with John, and I have had brief Twitter conversations with Jenna. Even when beginning his battle against cancer, John took the time to share some of his wisdom and experience with me when it came to my channel, and some of it was also to help instill more confidence in myself. I had lost my way for a time after that, and as such, I had lost some of his respect for a time, but after a few months, he emailed me again and we shared a brief, respectful interaction. It's an odd concept to so look up to a person younger than yourself like I do with John, but I did very much look up to him, and I hope to hold on to the higher ideals that I espoused when I started this channel to begin with that were mirrored based on his influence. A channel that has worn many hats over the past 3 years: games critic, reporter, industry analysis, and for a brief, dark moment in time, my channel was also a source of drama. but I don't like to talk about that very much. I'd prefer it just didn't happen. Now, through it all, though, my one largest regret is actually a selfish one. Now, I'd always dreamed of one day being on the co-optional podcast with Totalbiscuit, Jesse Cox, and Dodger. Oddly enough, I wanted to accomplish that more so because my daughter would be absolutely beside herself with excitement more than anything else. And now, I'll never have that opportunity. And like I said, it's a selfish thought to have, but honesty in all things, except of course when your significant other asks you a trick question. I am, however, going to stop rambling on. I think we all need to take some time to process this information, and I also know this goes without saying, but please be respectful to Jenna and anyone related to Totalbiscuit and their wishes. It is never easy to lose someone. It's not easy for me. I've had to re-record this video about 9 times now, and even though I never met John face to face, he did definitely make an impact on my life, and like I said, this channel simply would not be here were it not for his influence. He will be remembered, and his inspiration that helped forge this channel into being will continue on. Now, I've been called the poor man's Totalbiscuit many times in the past, and I'll say the same thing now that I said back then. You goddamn right I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.